All right, let's talk about something we all do, probably a dozen times a day, without even thinking about it. Clicking that little like button. It seems so simple, right? A little thumbs up. But believe me, packed inside that one tiny click is a whole world of fascinating social psychology.
So let me start by asking you this. Have you ever been scrolling, you see a post, a picture, whatever, and you genuinely like it? It makes you smile, it makes you think, but for some reason, you just keep on scrolling. You don't hit the button. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone, and there's a really good reason why that happens.
Okay, so what's the deal here? Well, we tend to think a like is just for us. It's a quick, private little nod that says, hey, I enjoyed this. But the reality? Oh, it's something totally different. It's a public performance, a social gesture that sends a signal, and that signal has consequences.
Now, to really get why we don't click, we first have to cover the basics of why we do. This is the easy part, you know? It's the tip of the iceberg, the stuff we all kind of get instinctively.
The reasons are pretty straightforward, right? Sometimes it's just pure fun. You get that tiny little hit of dopamine, feels good. Other times you're showing support for a friend, kind of giving them a virtual high five. Or maybe you're signaling your own identity, saying, yep, I'm on board with this. Or, just going with the flow of your online friends. But these reasons, they don't even begin to tell the whole story.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Let's dive under the water and look at that hidden part of the iceberg, all the complex psychological reasons we hold back that like, whether we realize we're doing it or not.
And here is the absolute most important thing to understand. A like is not private, not even close. It's a permanent, visible trace of what you did online. It's a digital breadcrumb you're leaving for literally everyone else to find and, well, to interpret.
And who's finding these breadcrumbs? Well, the audience is way bigger than you might think. Obviously, there's the author, but then there are their friends, and sometimes it gets broadcast to your friends. And let's not forget the big one, the platform's algorithm, which is always watching, always learning from every single thing you do. Your simple little click is anything but private.
This right here, this captures that internal debate perfectly. It's that voice of self-preservation in your head. Maybe it's a controversial political post or something really vulnerable and personal. You might even agree with it, but you pause because you don't want to be judged or put in a box because of that one single click.
And this opens up a whole other can of worms. What does a like even mean? It's such a blunt tool. Are you liking the photo or the sad story in the caption or the person's opinion? That lack of nuance can create some real social anxiety.
Think about it. It's a one-bit signal. It's a simple yes or no, on or off, in a world that is just full of complexity and shades of gray. It just can't communicate empathy or cautious agreement or any of the other subtle feelings we have in real life. And this is where that lack of nuance becomes a huge problem. I mean, how do you like a post where someone announces they're sick or that they've lost a loved one? Hitting a thumbs up just feels bizarre and totally inappropriate. Same thing can happen with a colleague's big success. Does your like mean you're happy for them, or could it be seen in some other way? It's tricky. So this brings us to this really powerful idea, social currency. I want you to start thinking of a like as a tiny little unit of social money. Every time you give one, you're spending it to boost someone else up, to strengthen a bond, or to signal your own status in the pecking order. And once you see likes as money, a whole new competitive game starts to emerge. You might genuinely love what someone posted, but then this thought pops into your head. It's a calculated choice not to pay them with your social capital, especially if you feel like, hey, they're already getting plenty of attention. And you see this kind of strategic thinking all the time in professional spaces. On a platform like LinkedIn, a like is way more than a reaction. It's a public endorsement. And in a competitive field, people can be very, very careful about who they choose to endorse.
So beyond all the competition and strategy, there's also just a simple, fundamental rule of how the internet works. It's called the 99-1 rule. And it says that the huge majority of people online, a full 90%, are lurkers. They're passive consumers. They read, they watch, they listen, but they almost never engage publicly. And for this massive group of people, not engaging isn't really a decision they make post by post. It's just part of their identity online. It's a comfortable role to be in. They're the audience, the observers, and to suddenly start liking and commenting would just feel weird to them. And then, of course, there's the simple brute force of cognitive overload. I mean, our feeds are just endless waterfalls of information. You see something, you have that brief little spark of, oh, that's cool, But before your brain can even tell your finger to move and click, your thumb has already swiped on to the next 3 things.
Here's another really important mental calculation that we're making all the time. Our decision to like something often has way less to do with the actual content and everything to do with our relationship to the person who posted it.
This is a perfect example of using likes to manage social distance. A like can sometimes feel like an invitation, like you're opening a door for more interaction. And if you're trying to maintain a certain boundary, either professionally or personally, withholding that like is a very subtle but very effective way to do it.
So after digging into all these hidden layers, it's pretty clear that we need a whole new way to define what a like and, just as importantly, the absence of a like really means.
So let's just boil it all down. On the one hand, a like is a public trace. It's social currency, it's a relationship marker, and it's a cue for the algorithm. But on the other hand, not liking something can be a conscious choice for privacy, for protecting your image, for emotional distancing, or hey, it might just be good old-fashioned cognitive fatigue.
And this right here is probably the biggest takeaway, especially for anyone who puts things out there on the internet. Engagement does not equal impact. Someone can see your work, deeply connect with it, think about it for days, even change their mind because of what you said, and do all of that without ever leaving a single visible trace.
And that leaves us with one final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. People take the meaning, they take the value from what's shared, but they often choose not to pay for it with the social currency of a like. So the next time you're scrolling, just think about what you're paying for and what you're simply taking for free.